Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to Wrestleview Post-Raw. This is the Wrestlemania Raw edition of Post-Raw. Go home show to Wrestlemania. I'm pumped up.
I cannot believe we're here.
I cannot believe it's here. This week is Wrestlemania week.
Crazy.
We got some stuff planned for Wrestleview. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but first I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
And I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Oh man, thanks everybody for being here tonight. I don't know why I'm like really excited to talk about this show, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this week. It's just, I don't know. There's something about WrestleMania.
Yes, there is. It's fun and it's exciting and it seems like a normal WrestleMania this year too. So that's another reason why I think it's a little bit more normal than past couple years, obviously.
Somebody told me that this is this is the first WrestleMania go home show in front of a crowd in 3 years. Next week's Raw will be the first Raw after WrestleMania in front of a crowd in 3 years. So maybe that's part of why I'm excited, because like for the past 2 years, it's just been, the first year was just was nothing. They had no noise at all. But last year was just somebody pressing a button on, matches and segments that really weren't that great, but they were just like, oh, there's no crowd here, and we get to control the message. cheer, cheer, cheer. It's like, no, stop.
No.
Nobody wants to see Seth Rollins take Rey Mysterio's eye out. No. So I think having actual fans there, even though they were in Pittsburgh tonight, I'm sorry, Mr. V, Pittsburgh stinks in terms of crowds. Quality people have come out of Pittsburgh, including one of the greatest wrestling champions of all time, Bruno Sammartino, even Larry Zbyszko, but most importantly, Mr. V and Pat McAfee, of course, as well.
Yeah, Mr. V though on top though.
So
he's like, so does Jersey.
Well, yes, but
that's a given though.
At least but Jersey will show up and make noise. Like there was no noise for certain things tonight. It's like Kurt Angle, of course, even though there was certain times where he sullied his reputation, but for the most part, yes, Kurt Angle, absolutely. So even though it was a subdued Pittsburgh crowd tonight, hearing noise, legitimate, real noise, was just nice for a WrestleMania go home show. And it's just WrestleMania week, and it's just exciting to be a wrestling fan at this time. And before we even get started, I'm going to just make the plug right now. If this is the first time you're checking us out, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have a ton of content coming out this week. We're also, please like this video and share it if you like it as well, and share us with your friends. Yes, indeed. That'll help us grow our audience, and that's what we really want to do. Yeah, it's like a thing.
Growing is a thing.
So, tonight, obviously, we're doing Post-Raw. I'm Mike Tedesco. That's Victoria. We do Post-Raw every week on the Wrestleview Radio Network, Wrestleview YouTube channel.
Yes,
I call it the Wrestleview Radio Network because
that's what it used to be.
What's programmed in my head. It just is. Tomorrow night, we actually have a special little thing. Roy Nemmer is going to be posting footage of him playing WWE 2K22. He's going to be simulating some of the WrestleMania matches. I believe that's what he has planned. Although I don't want to put words in his mouth for sure, but we're definitely going to have 2K22 footage streaming tomorrow night on the channel. Wednesday, we got Josh Boutwell doing his AEW Dynamite recap, but we're taking it. That'll be our one day off,
right?
on the YouTube channel.
Right, exactly.
Thursday, we're going to have coverage of the AAA show. Josh Boutwell is going to be giving us coverage of the AAA show on the website, but we're also going to be getting together, and there's going to be some very special person on the show as well, and Mr. Paul Nemmer will be giving WrestleMania predictions on Thursday. So we're going to have a prediction show on Thursday. So tune in and give us your predictions as well, and listen to us make some probably bad predictions.
Well, especially me.
Well, Victoria's.
I'm literally like, I haven't made a single one where I haven't gotten pied in the face yet. That happens on this channel too sometimes, by the way.
Yes, yeah. We do pies in the face. It's like a strange thing. Friday night, we obviously we're gonna have coverage of SmackDown on the website. Jerome Weiland is going to be covering the Ring of Honor, Super Card of Honor show, which is obviously a big one. That's the first one under the Tony Khan umbrella. And we're going to have a post SmackDown show with Mr. Roy Nemmer after that. Saturday, we're busy. Oh, and also, by the way, Hall of Fame coverage on Friday night as well. I'll be doing Hall of Fame coverage on Saturday at 12 noon. I'm going to be doing a recap of NXT Stand and Deliver. Later in the day, we're going to be doing WrestleMania Saturday. I will be covering WrestleMania Saturday. And after WrestleMania Saturday, we're going to be doing a post show. So we'll be covering that. And we have a very special guest lined up, not just Mr. Paul Nemmer, but potentially somebody else. It's not 100,000% confirmed yet, but we have somebody else coming on there. I think you already know who it is for those that have been watching us for a long time. Sunday, WrestleMania Sunday. I'll be covering that again. That's two in a row. I'll be covering that again. And we'll be doing another post show as well. And finally, that'll bring us to Monday, the Raw after WrestleMania. I'll be recapping once again. So that's a lot of recaps.
There's a lot of recaps in there.
Yeah, there's going to be the Hall of Fame,
NXT, WrestleMania,
2 nights of WrestleMania, and that's 5 and 4 days. That's gonna be a lot. I'm excited though. I'm really excited. Yeah. I'm really excited.
At least you're excited though. Yeah. Otherwise, this week would really suck.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
This week would be horrible for you if you were not excited.
And hopefully, you'll tune in to the post show next Monday, and I won't just faceplant on screen. Hopefully not. Yes, Corey. Yes, Saturday we'll have WrestleMania NXT Stand and Deliver coverage. So we got that going on. Now the question is, what day do Mike want me to tune in? I am off on Mondays. Well, I think we need to have. I think we might have to have Mr. V as a special guest on Post Raw.
Just saying.
I think we're gonna have to do that because although we should have had him on tonight from Pittsburgh, Mr. Pittsburgh over here.
We really did not think this run through. We're sorry, Mr. V.
Yes, indeed. Quentin Walters. Happy WrestleMania, everybody. Yes, indeed. Happy WrestleMania.
I'm not even joking, though. I forgot. I'm not joking.
What?
About this whole week.
What?
On Friday. No, on Friday. Because the dates have been so confusing. And then you're like, oh, WrestleMania. And I'm like, oh my God. Yes, you're right. WrestleMania week is this week.
Honestly, you know how I know I'm really excited? Like for a show I started thinking about this show like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was like, man, like I am really excited to see some of this stuff, especially when they announced Austin. I think everybody knows I'm a big Austin fan here.
Yeah,
he was in the first main event of the first show I ever saw, and he's just obviously one of the greatest of all time. And it's like I'm not going to the show this year, but I feel like I am. It's like that kind of anticipation. Yeah, Daniel is crapping on this show before it even starts. He's prognosticated that it's going to be bad somehow, but it's really not. And actually, WrestleMania Saturday just seems so stacked. It's like ridiculously stacked.
I'm just really excited that it's 2 days, and I really hope that continues to 2 days in the future.
I think 2 days is the way to go.
It has to be.
I think that's the way to go.
There's a lot of good stuff coming up.
So I'm just gonna run down the card real quick as it stands right now. So for night 1 of WrestleMania, which is gonna take place on April 2nd, we have Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. We have the Mysterios, Rey and Dominic versus The Miz and Logan Paul in a really strange tag match. All right, Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. All right. The Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and King Woods will take on Sheamus and Ridge Holland in a tag match. I have a feeling that might get bumped to the pre-show.
I was thinking the same thing.
Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Seth freaking Rollins versus an opponent to be announced. So we have to talk about that real quick. The opponent to be announced, so obviously we've been following the Wrestlemania journey of Seth Rollins. That's been the big focus of the show. And they just paid it off today on Twitter. It's like all this time, like there's so like main event, he faced Kevin Owens, he faces AJ Styles. He's been trying his hardest to get into WrestleMania, and then they just paid off on Twitter. It's like, fine, whatever.
Right. But let it be.
So they have a segment where he goes to Vince's office. He's there at like 6:45 in the morning, and he doesn't get to see him until almost 9 o'clock in the morning, which I thought was pretty funny. And then he walks in this crazy suit. Vince totally no-sells him and puts his feet on the desk. And Vince says, it's a stupendous WrestleMania. We could do it without you, but I don't want to do it without you. So you have a match at WrestleMania. I don't know why you didn't just come to me in the first place, which I thought was actually pretty damn funny.
Right.
Because all could have been avoided if he had just talked to Vince in the first place.
Just simple conversation.
So Vince said, he called it a main event level match. Yes. And he said he's handpicking the opponent, and Seth will know who the opponent is when he's announced at WrestleMania. So that's taking place on WrestleMania Saturday. Obviously, spoiler alert, it's Cody Rhodes. It's Cody Rhodes. It's Cody Rhodes. Okay? It's Cody Rhodes. That's what's happening.
Nobody else.
He's going to be Seth
If
Rollins'
it were
opponent.
Literally anybody else, it would be a major disappointment at this point.
So that's one of the big returns on WrestleMania Saturday. I think Cody. Okay, so I want to know what everybody thinks in the chat room, because I put this out on Twitter that I said I think Cody's going to get a humongous reception. Some people were like, "No, it's going to be boos and they're going to start chanting Stardust." It's like, no, they're not. They're not going to do that. But I'm thinking, if not like the Hardy Boys in 2017, something close to that. What do you think?
It brings attention, whether it's good or bad. I think it could really go either way. I don't think it's going to go so far to the point where it's going to be like people are going to like actively boo him where they're screaming Stardust, but there are people who very well could boo him, and then there are very well much people who are cheering him. But I think it's just going to be a reaction, and booing or not, it's a reaction. It's going to be a big reaction.
I feel like
you can't imagine that it's not going to be a big reaction, because at the end of the day, this is an individual who, again, we've talked about this time and time again now, who left the company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Went to another company, helped build that other company, and then was like, hey, never mind, I don't want to help this anymore, right? And it's coming back to a company that like he left in the first place. This is like a point, this is like a pivotal now moment in wrestling right now, because this is really the first person to come back from going to AEW, and now they're coming back.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
So
that's a really good point.
This is why like this moment is so big.
Yeah.
And because Seth Rollins too was such a devoted, like when Dean Ambrose went as Jon Moxley now to AEW, he was just like going hard on AEW and like critiquing them and being overly whatever. These two are perfect together. Seth Rollins, he was saying AEW, he was like this is bad, like he whatever. He was like overly and like very much like WWE, and AEW sucks and like this, that, and the other thing.
I remember when Cody. Yeah, go on.
This matchup is everything.
Yeah.
If anything, Cody Rhodes coming back to Seth Rollins, the biggest cheerleader for WWE at that point when AEW is really getting going. This is a huge moment.
Yeah. I think I remember when Dusty Rhodes passed away, and Cody took some time off to grieve the loss of his father. And everybody was like, well, he's got to come back as Cody Rhodes, right? He's not going to come back as that bullshit Stardust gimmick, right? Well, he posted some kind of picture, and he's like, my dad always said, finish what you started. And it really like that kind of resonated with me. It kind of went, I kind of thought back to that tweet that he put out in, all those years ago. And I thought, he really does have some unfinished business in WWE as well. And I think he's kind of trying to follow the career path that his father took, like where he's a big star, outside of WWE, even though, he started in WWE, but he has made himself into a big star outside of WWE. Now he's going to come back and he could be a main event level talent. Like Dusty Rhodes never really got to the main event of WWF when he came back in late when he debuted in, I think it was like 1989, 1990 ish, but he was certainly a featured character. And I think that's kind of the role that he wants to take. He wants to really, continue the Rhodes legacy in WWE.
Yeah.
Because, it's, there is unfinished business there.
He did so much for the company.
I don't know if it's going to be Hardy Boys level. It really depends on the music, and also, paying off this, like the fact that they've held it, I think it was really smart at the end of the day to hold it off until WrestleMania. Don't pay it off, because he wouldn't get the reaction, if he debuted in Chicago last week, that, coming in at WrestleMania, because then he'll just be like a guy that's on the roster, even though it's like a big match and stuff like that.
Right.
But him coming out and showing his face for the first time, I think it really will still genuinely blow people's minds.
It is.
Because even though we have confirmation, we know that he signed, it's still, it's a rumor until we actually see it happen.
Exactly.
So I think that's going to be a huge pop.
Regardless, it's going to be something.
But nothing's going to be bigger than Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, no doubt.
In Texas.
But
on the KO show, because that's the last piece of the WrestleMania puzzle. And they keep talking about that as the main event of WrestleMania Saturday. Is it possible? I thought for sure, and I want to know what everybody thinks in the chat room as well. And we're getting a lot of stuff. Quentin Walters thinks that Cody will get the Road Warriors pop. Randy doesn't think it's going to be Hardy Boys level. Mr. V thinks that we're going to get trolled and it'll be Chris Jericho. But Daniel Shells says, I want the American Nightmare Cody. I would like that too. V also says, I don't think it'll be as hot as the Hardy Boys reunion, but it should be a satisfying pop. Billy Hafner, Uncle Billy, says standing O. All right. Randy says he'll get a big reaction because the WrestleMania crowd is a smart wrestling crowd. But if there are such things as casual fans or fans returning to WWE, bringing their kids to WrestleMania, Cody has no history with them. That's actually a good point too. That Cody was, God, he left in 2016. And the last time they saw him was a Stardust, if they even saw him. So that is a good point. But if the smart wrestling fans treat him as a big star, those people will also do it. And people also are really, really heavy on being there for a moment. Mm-hmm. Like we were there at WrestleMania 33 when the Hardy Boys came back, and it was deafening. And part of it was because, yes, we were genuinely excited to see the Hardy Boys again. But I'm not going to lie, there was a moment where I was like, I'm witnessing a WrestleMania moment right now. And that made me even more excited. Well, people pop for what they perceive are moments.
When
they pop for heel turns, right?
Yes.
It's like the heel gets the biggest cheers when they turn heel because they're seeing something. They're seeing a moment. They're seeing a title change. That's a moment.
Yes.
But a WrestleMania moment's another thing. And Cody coming back at WrestleMania after being AEW's, one of the executive vice presidents.
Boy. Yep, exactly.
Is a moment. That's a moment.
And
even
if
you're the most jaded fan, seeing him come out, it's going to be something.
Well, also too, think about it. The chain reaction. If you see other people just standing and cheering, people aren't just going to follow along. You're going to follow along.
Oh yeah.
Especially the kids.
Especially for the parents that have no idea what's going on. They'll be like, oh yeah, this is a guy to cheer. And then they're like, but they'll actually get
how many? Okay,
like that footage of my dad at King of the Ring, like he knew nothing about wrestling.
He knew nothing, but you get up and you
he saw something and then he heard the crowd. My dad was like,
you just follow along.
Yes,
you do
exactly.
Corey
Howell. I'm sorry. There's no way that they're bringing back a Stardust. If they bring it back a Stardust, I'm phoning it. I'm retiring.
I don't think
I will retire on the air.
I don't think Cody would.
I will not complete the WrestleMania recap.
I don't even think. I know Vince is vengeful, but I don't think Vince. I think Vince is vengeful for sure, but I don't think he would do that.
Vince likes to make money. Vince has brought so many people back that you never thought would come back.
That's what we were saying. We've been saying that for years. If it could benefit Vince and it can any financial piece to it, doesn't care. He'll make sure that bridge is
Oh yeah.
He doesn't burn bridges like that.
Oh yeah.
You can never say never in WWE.
No, certainly not. All right. WrestleMania Sunday. By the way, I have a prediction for the Austin thing. I'm going to tell you in a second. WrestleMania Sunday, which is April 3rd, we have a fatal 4-way women's tag team match for the women's tag team championship. I can't believe this whole thing. Queen Zelina and Carmella will defend against Sasha Banks and Naomi, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, and Natalya and Shayna Baszler. And in an anything goes match, we are going to have the distinct privilege of watching Johnny Knoxville have a match against Sami Zayn. Okay. Pat McAfee.
Oh, there's going to be an added person to that match. You didn't hear?
No.
Will Smith's joining.
Oh my God. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Shut up. Dick.
Will Smith's joining.
What an idiot.
That's why he wanted to join WrestleMania.
I look, this is we're doing wrestling right now, but he's an idiot.
Jamel said it best. He said that, it's really setting a precedence that you can go on live television and just assault someone. So
if anybody else does it, you're in jail. If you're a celebrity, they play by different rules, but they'll tell you how to live your life.
This was his moment though last night. He wanted to get his WrestleMania.
No, I'm done. I'm not talking about that idiot. I'm just not. We're not. So we're moving on. Okay. So Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. We have Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory, which okay, it's gonna be a good match. I really do think it's gonna be a good match. Raw tag team titles on the line with RK Bro defending against the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. A match I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Me too.
Edge versus AJ Styles is gonna be great.
Yeah,
I really think it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Lashley returned on tonight's Raw, and he'll be facing Omos. That sounds like a perfect opportunity to debut Gable Steveson.
Okay.
And finally, the biggest WrestleMania match of all time. Winner takes all. A match to unify the WWE Championship and the WWE Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar, the WWE Champion, will go against Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion. The only question is, which title lineage will they keep? I suspect it will continue with the lineage of the WWE Championship, which has been around since the 1960s. 60 years of the WWE Championship. They have to continue that lineage. That'd be crazy if they didn't. But who cares about lineage in a fake sport, right? I still do. Okay? I don't care. All right? I don't care what you think of me. All right? Anyway, that sounds like a really, really great show. It really does. And I'm very, very excited about it. And we had a lot of build for that show tonight on this WrestleMania Raw. Now, let me get to my prediction real quick about Steve Austin, because they kind of just like, everything was kind of modular tonight, where it's just like everything was just like kind of it wasn't so much a segment as it was a commercial for WrestleMania. And we had this really, really great video package for Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then right after that, they had Kevin Owens out there, and he's going, nobody does video production better than WWE, but that wasn't as good as my tribute to Steve Austin last week. Here's why my tribute was better. Everyone's ecstatic that Stone Cold's my guest on the main event of WrestleMania Saturday. Last week wasn't just a tribute, but he was also doing everyone a favor, because with him dressed as Stone Cold Steve Austin, that's the closest they'll ever get to the old Stone Cold that everybody used to admire. That Stone Cold has been gone for 19 years. 19 years. This is the Austin that's been drinking himself into oblivion for 19 years. He's so bored on his stupid ranch that he's begging people to be on his podcast to relive the old days. That Austin still sounds like Stone Cold. We saw a heavily edited video package of him accepting my offer, which I thought was really funny. It was totally absurd, with like all these drones flying overhead, and Steve Austin driving a golf cart. It was like so weird. It was weird. It was strange. He said he still talks a big game, but he better not come to WrestleMania and pick a fight with me, because everybody knows what will happen if he picked the fight with Kevin Owens. Austin is going to have a nice conversation about his career, and Owens is honored that he will get the send-off that Austin thinks he deserves. He hates beer, but he's going to toast with Steve Austin, and Austin will finally pass the torch to Owens as the new Stone Cold and the true master of the stunner. And then he says, if you try to pick a fight with me, he'll take him down. And that's the bottom line because KO said so. I almost think that they built this up like a match. And initially when it was, when it leaked that Steve Austin was going to be coming to WrestleMania, that it was going to be a match. And then they made it into this KO show.
KO show, yeah.
I don't think that you just do Austin in Texas for just one night.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that this confrontation is going to lead to Stone Cold Steve Austin having a match against Kevin Owens on Sunday. I think they'll definitely brawl, but I think it's gonna wind up Kevin Owens will run away and Steve Austin will challenge him to a match on WrestleMania Sunday.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be some bleed over from Saturday to Sunday.
Yeah,
and that would friggin' awesome.
Well, that would make the most sense too, because why are you going to just have him for one night? Why do that to yourself? Capitalize on it. Everyone's excited. The one night sure. If it was really just genuinely one night, fine. People are going to be excited. People are going to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell most people who are going Saturday are also going to be going Sunday. But why not do both?
Damn it, that son of a bitch Fox is back outside.
Is it really?
Yes. I don't know what. Yeah, I think they should be doing both. I think that's.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea.
I don't know.
I came up with it.
I think that whoever's listening in WWE, listen to this one over here. Wait, my point? No.
Yeah, you had it right the first time.
Wait, this is wrong.
You can't see?
No.
There you go. That's the one.
Okay.
Yes. If I go like that, I'm pointing at you because we're facing each other. And okay.
No, but it's a smart move. But how do you feel about? You said a match, right? Like it bleeds over into a match on Sunday.
Yeah.
How do you feel about how long is the match? If it does happen, is it strictly brawl?
I think it's another extended kind of brawl. I think Steve Austin probably wrestle in his jorts. But he'll take a shirt off at least. By all accounts, everybody that knows Steve Austin that's seen him as he's gearing up for WrestleMania say that he's in great shape. Okay. He's jacked. He's ready to go. So it's just a question of, does Steve Austin want to always say that his match against The Rock in Seattle at WrestleMania 19 was his final one, or does he want to, finish out his career with Kevin Owens being the last person he ever has a match with? The Rock match was huge. That was a semi-main of, when WrestleMania was one night only. Then that's a huge match to go out on.
That's a good point.
So it's just going to come down to
what he wants.
To Steve Williams, the person.
What does he want?
The man behind Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
What can Steve Williams live with? Because nobody wants to see happen what happened to Shawn Michaels again, where he came out of retirement and it was a complete and total embarrassment.
It was embarrassing.
A stain on his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
But if Steve Austin comes out, he stands to make a lot of money if doing a couple one-off matches every now and then. If they send him over to Saudi Arabia, he's looking to make a couple million per match. He will probably, if he went over to Saudi Arabia, I know you have your feelings about Saudi Arabia. We're not here to talk about that.
No, we're not.
But if he goes over to Saudi Arabia, there's a great chance that in one night doing one BS bogus match where he throws a couple stunners on people, he'll probably make more in that one night than he did in 1 year in his biggest peak.
Yeah. That's true.
And that is incentive enough to come out. Even though Shawn Michaels stained his legacy, he still made a lot of money.
Well, yes. And I think that, thinking about that, learning from Shawn Michaels too, Stone Cold could also kind of learn from his mistakes where like he has full control. And I'm not to say that Shawn Michaels doesn't have full control. Clearly he has full control of what he wants to do. But you can kind of see how other people did it and approach it a little bit differently for if you are coming out of retirement for a little bit. And again, I'm good with like a once in a while because I have this vision of Stone Cold and I don't want to lose that, but I'm gonna go nuts. I'm gonna go nuts.
All right, so another match on WrestleMania Saturday. So the Steve Austin thing is absolutely taking place on WrestleMania Saturday. I think it'd be great to have it on WrestleMania Sunday as well, but we'll see. Another match happening on WrestleMania Saturday actually got one of the few new angles. Everything else was kind of just like feud maintenance of just like, okay, well, this is why I hate this person and this blah, blah, blah. And that's why you need to watch on, WrestleMania Saturday or Sunday when I kick this person's ass. This one actually had an angle to it. So we have Bianca Belair out there. This is the first time we've seen her in 2 weeks because she got her throat crushed by Becky Lynch 2 weeks ago after she broke Becky Lynch's throat 3 weeks ago. Becky attacks her from behind, goes to cut off her hair, the ponytail. She had a pair of scissors with her. And I was like, wow.
That was giving me heart palpitations.
I was like, man, they're actually going to cut off Bianca Belair's hair.
That's like, do it.
That's like, it's like her thing, man.
Yeah.
That's like her thing. But she got out of it. She hits 2 KODs on Becky Lynch. And then she proceeds to apply a body scissor, no pun intended here, and actually cut off a lot of Becky Lynch's hair. Clumps and clumps of hair all over the ring. I thought, is it possible? And I'd like to know the chat room thoughts too. Is it possible that Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair is hair versus hair?
It could be. That's what it seems like it's alluding to. It's something.
But it's like, do we need that?
And we don't need it. The match itself is selling because people are really rooting for Bianca, and obviously Becky Lynch is Becky Lynch, and she's starting to get the genuine heel heat that she was lacking in the beginning. But now because she finally found, like, was able to fine tune that and turn the crowd around. People still love her, of course, but she's able to get that heel component in there. I personally don't think the match needs it. The only selfishly, I think selfishly for her, she might be thinking about it. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay.
Wow.
All right, you don't listen to me.
Who cares? Take a joke, Jada.
No. So, what was I saying? But anyways, so I don't think the match needs it, but I think selfishly Becky doesn't want to do her warrior hair anymore. I think she's looking for a way out of like, okay, I want to cut my hair or something.
But she'll scare her child. Like, could you imagine if you came home with a shaved head?
Not a shaved head, but like just like a shorter haircut.
I did. You better.
Why does a hair versus hair have to be like they go bald?
Well, I mean, okay. So the reason why I actually think it's going to be hair versus hair is WWE, not so. I don't think anything's done on, just sheer happenstance. They just like dropped the Victoria versus Molly Holly match from WrestleMania 20, which was hair versus hair, and she shaved Molly bald. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then they did this angle tonight. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's kind of interesting. Could be. I don't know. But the question is, does WrestleMania Saturday need that?
No. I don't think it needs
so
it at all.
I think it's so loaded. Yeah, I mean, look, you're not excited about it. I'm not excited about it. A lot of people probably aren't excited about it, but Logan Paul is going to be on that show. I know. Victoria doesn't even want to be in the frame.
I can't stand
Logan Paul's going to be on the show. We have Stone Cold Steve Austin appearing on the show. We have Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. We have that's about it. That's about all the really, really, really exciting matches. There's a lot going on that show already. It doesn't really need it. It just doesn't. It's like I'm already excited enough for Saturday. Now, I was asked by somebody, like, why are they loading up WrestleMania Saturday so much? I actually think the reason why they're doing that is because it's still kind of new that they're doing the 2-night thing for WrestleMania. They're kind of afraid that people will forget to watch it on Saturday, so they've almost made WrestleMania Saturday like you can't not watch it.
Yeah, you have to. If you miss this, then you're screwed.
There you go. Oh, I like that. That's not a bad idea. Give her a Karen haircut and she can feud with Bailey. Could do that. Oh boy, yeah, the train wreck. Ronda versus Charlotte. I mean, it's certainly something, but Randy also makes a good point too. You should probably maybe save that for save it for WrestleMania Backlash, which is an actual show. WrestleMania SummerSlam, which is not an actual show, but SummerSlam is, or WrestleMania Royal Rumble. So yeah, everything's getting the WrestleMania treatment because that's the name that sells, and they're gonna run that into the ground. But that was a big angle. I thought it was good.
It was good.
And I'm very curious to see what comes out of it. I think if they were going to do hair versus hair, in all honesty, they probably would have announced it on the show, or they would have had, instead of saying, Bianca, you bitch, Becky Lynch would have she would have.
I think the stipulations would have either meant been right then and there,
right,
or like when it was going on, or later on that night, like something where they have an altercation again, and they see each other, and then she's like, "You took mine, I'm taking yours now."
Yeah,
type thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, it could be a tease for something later on, like Randy said, but it really doesn't need it at this point. I think personally, for me, I think the match sells itself. So
I think so as well. And like I said, the rest of the show was kind of feud maintenance, and there was a couple of other things that kind of tease upcoming things for Raw, but certainly not for WrestleMania. So show kicks off with Brock Lesnar coming out in full cowboy gear. Initially, I thought it was going to be Lesnar and Reigns face to face in the ring, but it wasn't. They just both appeared on the show in separate segments, which is totally fine.
I like that.
That's totally
to be
fine.
Honest with you, I don't need a constant interaction, especially
right
with the know.
And on Friday, they had to have security in between them, so it doesn't make sense for them to get in the ring and be totally
cordial.
Although they did kind of go back on the blood thing a little bit. We'll talk about that in a few.
Mm-hmm.
So Brock Lesnar comes out, and Pittsburgh's dead for Brock Lesnar, who's trying to play to them and actually have some fun. And yeah, he I think it threw Lesnar a little bit that they weren't like reacting to things that
normally he would get a reaction
for. He did,
even in the most random towns.
It's like every time somebody, whoever's in the opening segment of Raw has to scream, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw." And he goes, "Look, I know I sucked at doing that, but I won't do that again. But what I don't suck at is handing out country ass whippings." Crickets.
Yeah,
it's like, come on.
Did they just like not get it? Like,
I don't know.
Something wrong?
He tried to do like, what The Rock did with SmackDown Hotel, Jabroni Drive, and naming all these the streets after nicknames and stuff like that. So he said he's going to take Roman Reigns on a trip to Suplex City. They're going to go to the Beast of Broadway, and they're going to go to the Carnival. They're going to ride the F5, and no one survives that ride. The crowd was giving him the what treatment because whatever.
And again, stupid.
Yeah, and he goes. Lesnar says so. He goes. Steve Austin will be at WrestleMania as well. Austin's an ass kicker like him, but Austin never kicked Lesnar's ass. Well, he did give him a stunner at WrestleMania 20, but he never kicked his ass. After the Carnival, they're going to hit a wedding. They're going to be wedding crashers, and the marriage will be his title to Roman Reigns' title. They'll have a baby in the unified title, and Lesnar will have full custody. And he's in a great mood because in 6 days,
stuff.
Yeah, he says, "I'm in a great mood because in 6 days I finally get my hands on Roman Reigns. There's no more running and nowhere to hide." Ladies and gentlemen, your new reigning, defending, unified heavyweight champion of the world, Brock Lesnar, drops the microphone, walks off. Good. Really good.
What's interesting?
I thought it was good.
I thought it was good too. I never knew he could talk. Like I really didn't.
He's not a great talker, but
he's a talker.
He can do it.
He can talk.
He certainly can do it. But like when he's doing that stuff and the crowd is dead, it's like they were piping in chants for some of the stupidest stuff tonight.
Right, but then they couldn't
where
do.
Was the chant? Where was the cheer button on this one?
It's the guy was sleeping.
It made no sense. It was like so weird. It's like I don't know. Like you can obviously tell when they choose to pipe in the cheers and when they don't.
Yeah, clearly. When everyone's on their hands and then it's like cheers, cheers, cheers.
Right. Brock being out there and dying a death before Pittsburgh when he's actually doing good material.
That's what was baffling to me.
Like,
if he was talking nonsense and not,
you have the button for a reason. You have the button for the reason.
Seriously. Whatever.
Miz in the ring, he faces Rey Mysterio. He brings out Lucha Logan Paul, who's wearing Rey Mysterio's mask from last week that was stolen. Dominic gets ejected from ringside before the match even starts because he keeps trying to go after Logan Paul and kill him, which I actually like that they had Dominic show a little fire here. Rey Mysterio picks up the win. They try to beat up Dominic, and Rey try to beat up Logan Paul, but he escapes, but Rey still manages to rip his mask off of Paul. Miz runs in. He gets a double 619. Dominic with a big frog splash on Miz. Rey follows up with a frog splash on Miz, and they stand tall. The Mysterio standing tall does not bode well for the WrestleMania chances. I can't believe that I actually think that. Well, I mean, this is a prediction. This is a spoiler of my prediction for the WrestleMania.
For the WrestleMania
on Thursday. But I think that Logan Paul is going to be victorious at WrestleMania.
Don't say it, please. Please keep these thoughts to yourself. And on Thursday, don't even say it too, because I am going to flip out. When he came out with that mask,
all right,
I flipped.
I know you weren't happy about it. Oh, there was another angle on this show. I should have also included this one. Omos versus the Viking Raiders. So last week Omos murdered Commander Aziz and Apollo Crews. This week, it's the Viking Raiders, who were contenders for the SmackDown Tag Team titles last year. I mean last month. I'm talking directly. I don't know if this will make it to them, but I'm talking directly to Apollo Crews, Commander Aziz, Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raiders. After WrestleMania, around mid-April, don't answer your phone from the office.
He said that.
Don't answer your phone.
Let them think you work there still.
Something bad's gonna happen.
We'll just walk around.
Just do the Bastion.
Don't say anything.
Do the Bastion booger.
Just go there.
Just keep showing up.
Just go there. Go to the bathroom.
Don't show your face to anybody. Just keep showing up.
Just go there.
It'd be like The Office,
where
they just keep you on the payroll because they didn't get in touch with you and fire you.
No, and guess what? They'll forget.
Initiator, hello.
They'll forget.
Hey, yo.
And then they will randomly need them one day. But you're right. Don't answer your phone.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. And email, deactivate it. Deactivate your social media accounts. Everything gone. Everything must go. Don't take anything from WWE. Anyway, Omos, he doesn't pin them, but he just kills Eric.
Kills him.
He gets counted out, and then Ivar tries to get in the ring, and he gets killed.
Yep,
just with a kick. So I mean, like they're the stuff underneath the refrigerator right now.
Yeah,
they're
because they're
gunk.
They are because they had hard hitting matches before, things like that. And again, granted, Omos is a big guy, so yeah, the impact would be definitely different than your average wrestler.
It is not good for long-term health.
The fact
of your
that
career.
They just tossed them aside and was just like, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. Not good.
It's pretty ugly. So Omos says he's undefeated. No one's knocked him off his feet. Who can threaten me at WrestleMania? Bobby Lashley comes out. That was our other big angle. So Bobby Lashley, who was going to have shoulder surgery and be out for a couple months, is going to have a WrestleMania match against Omos. And Lashley does manage to take down Omos with a shoulder block. I don't think Lashley's going to be. Oh, I can't. I keep giving away all my predictions, but
don't say it then. Just don't say it.
But I do think that Omos is going to have his way with Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, and that would be a really, really good way to debut Gable Steveson.
Okay,
so the NCAA wrestling powerhouse.
So is that the saving grace then?
That would be the saving grace,
because I honestly
then Bobby Lashley gets his WrestleMania payday, Then he gets to take time off for shoulder surgery.
Okay.
What does he do?
Okay, I didn't think about it like that.
A couple bumps for Omos. He could do that. He's probably rehabbed the shoulder enough to be okay to do that.
I see what you're saying.
But I think that'd be a really good way to get Gable Steveson involved. Guaranteed that kid is not ready to be a professional wrestler yet, but that'll at least get his face on the program, and then you can kind of build your way to that eventual debut.
Okay. Because I was thinking of it a little bit differently at first, but now I see what you're saying. I feel like I was very excited to see Lashley because I wanted him to have a moment. I feel like he deserved it. He really did do a lot this past year, and he deserved a moment on WrestleMania. He definitely deserved to be on the card for sure. Obviously, with the shoulder stuff, that took a back seat to what he was doing.
Right.
So it's nice to see him on the show. It will be nice to see him on the show. But at the same time, I'm like, this is not the match I would pick you for. You know what I mean? It's like, But
I kind of feel bad.
I feel very bad.
I feel bad that Lashley was WWE champion after Royal Rumble, beating Brock Lesnar.
That's what I'm saying.
Then he got injured during the WWE title match and lost it at Elimination Chamber, and he's been gone. And his first match back is
with Omos. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's nice. It's very bittersweet. It's nice to see him, but it's also like,
well, he'll get his WrestleMania payday, so that's important.
That's all that matters.
But good for him though for getting on. Okay, so this is some stuff that's going to be upcoming on Raw. We are going to eventually brace myself here. We are going to eventually have to recap and then review probably dual weddings of Dana Brooke and Reggie. And Tamina and Akira Tozawa. With R-Truth officiating and then trying to get
I will sit this one out. Nope. You could get somebody else to do it.
Dana Brooke and Reggie.
Any takers that week?
Mr. V, are you busy that week?
Any takers? Because I won't do it. I'll skip right over it. You could talk about it and I'll be like, I'll go to. Okay, Daniel's good.
All right. We'll
Daniel,
okay.
You're on.
All right. So Dana Brooke and Reggie are engaged. And so is Akira Tozawa and Tamina Snuka.
What is happening?
Okay. And can you believe what they followed up that segment with? Roman Reigns coming out to the ring. So the lead into Roman Reigns coming out to make his final push for WrestleMania was the engagement of Dana Brooke and Reggie and Akira Tozawa and Tamina Snuka.
Gotta love WWE.
What a weird, okay.
Although I do kind of get it.
Alpha Academy and the Street Profits got cut from tonight's show, and Alpha Academy didn't even appear on the show, although they had one of the greatest Snickers commercials that I've ever seen WWE produce.
So good.
That was so funny, that Snickers commercial with Alpha Academy. If you haven't seen it, you got to go out and
gotta see it.
You got to YouTube it.
So
Alpha
funny.
Academy Snickers. It's hilarious.
Hilarious.
But that match got cut, and that made it on the air.
Okay, when you put it that way, then everything I thought before doesn't make sense.
But whatever, weddings are
maybe they really just needed. Okay, this is my one theory. They really, really needed the bathroom break. They were like, I know this is like
you don't do it before Roman Reigns.
No, you do it before Roman Reigns. So everyone's there for Roman Reigns.
They're not going to make it back in time. It was the first part of the segment, and then Roman Reigns came out.
That was a quick bathroom break.
You're wrong. You're just wrong.
No, these places.
No.
These places have They have a lot more stalls now.
No, it's not a bathroom break. It's just poor placement. If you ask me.
Fine.
Anyway, but Roman Reigns cut an actual excellent promo. He's the only one that really got Pittsburgh to wake up. It seemed like Pittsburgh acknowledged me.
They acknowledged him. They acknowledged Brock Lesnar.
There was this great thing where he was saying, I had a plan to talk about being the last needle mover and how, I used to run Monday Night Raw before Fox begged me to come over and save SmackDown. I've done it all, but the crowd's giving him the what treatment. And he goes, well, if you keep giving me the what treatment, I'm going to smash you like I'd smash Stone Cold Steve Austin and like I'm going to smash Brock Lesnar. He said he's done everything in wrestling except beat the Beast at WrestleMania, and that pisses him off. They do a Suplex City chant. Reigns says what really bothers him about Brock Lesnar is just a couple of weeks ago, he was out for blood. This was personal to him, but Lesnar has already spilled his blood. In 2018 at WrestleMania 34, he busted Reigns open. And I was like, okay, oh my God, we're actually getting some history here. This is really good.
Like, wow, this is a quality promo.
Right. Reigns said, I bled all over New Orleans. Lesnar smashed my face to the point that my children didn't recognize me. My wife wanted me out of the business. My father doubted me and my family was ashamed. Now it's just a game to Lesnar. He comes out with all of his goofy little things tonight, but the tribal chief has changed the game. Now he's going to take everything from Lesnar. Reigns took his advocate and made him a wise man. He became the longest reigning Universal Champion and spilled Lesnar's blood at Madison Square Garden. This Sunday, he'll make his final move and take the title. Then Lesnar will know what it's like to make it personal because Reigns has made it personal. He yells, "This has always been personal to me." I was like, that's a solid ass promo. I wish that I heard that promo weeks ago because it defines what this whole entire feud is about. Obviously it's about titles and stuff like that, but like that they have all this history that they could play on and they did it. And I thought it was expertly done tonight. I thought that was probably Roman Reigns' best promo, maybe one of the best promos of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I was excited for that match, that
brought it to the next level.
More excited. Now it seemed like they kind of backed off the blood thing because he said that I already got my receipt on the blood because they kind of kept saying, "Oh, I'm coming for blood. I'm coming for blood," but they already got their blood.
They're backing off, yeah.
It seems like they're backing off on that. I think they think about their sponsors and stuff like that, but
which again, that's smart.
Yeah, but again, WrestleMania main event, all the gloves are off. Anything goes for a WrestleMania main event. Like Miz wrestles with a concussion. Reigns did get busted open at 34.
It's true.
I still think to this day that Brock Lesnar bladed himself at WrestleMania 31.
Oh, he definitely did.
Yeah, remember that? That was kind of
funny. That was like so honestly obvious.
Yeah. So just an excellent promo. Really, really, really great. It's like how do you get that match more exciting? They did it.
They did it.
They did it.
They accomplished it. They and it's going to be one of those things. I mean, I know there are still some people, like even Daniel said, he's like he feels like it's still going to suck, which again, that's fine. That's fine. People are, with their opinions.
No, I don't think it's going to suck at all. I think it's going to be great.
I don't either. What I'm saying is other people are not into it. I find for myself though, even if Reigns didn't cut this amazing promo tonight and didn't give the history, I would still find myself very excited for this just because just a different layers to the both of them. They've really just showcased different sides to themselves within this feud. Lesnar never knew he had like this goofy kind of like teasing, taunting, character.
Mm-hmm.
And Reigns, I knew that he had this strong like assertiveness to himself, but not to this point where he just his confidence alone. Like he's really just come a long way and he really just like knows his place and knows how to, feed into the crowd and whatnot. But this tonight too, really for both of them, the crowd obviously wasn't into what Lesnar was saying, but Roman Reigns like drove it home that this is going to be good and you want to watch it.
Yeah. I'm super excited. So we'll see what happens on that match, but I think it's going to be really good. We had an 8-woman tag match. This was just to promote the Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania. Sasha Banks, Naomi, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley go over Queen Zelina, Carmella, Shayna Baszler, and Natalya. Queen Zelina was pinned with a Riptide. So that was that. I didn't think it was much of a match. It was just kind of there. Ricochet, the Intercontinental Champion, takes on Austin Theory. Austin Theory pins him because this was nothing more than an enhancement match for Austin Theory, which it should be. A little disappointment here that Pat McAfee didn't show up in Pittsburgh because I think that would have been the second biggest pop of the night after Roman Reigns. Although, or might have surpassed Roman Reigns actually because Pat McAfee's a Pittsburgh legend there.
Right.
Austin Theory just easily destroys Ricochet with an ATL. Now, I recapped SmackDown this past Friday for Mr. Roy Nemmer, and I was very happy to do it. But on that show, Ricochet lost 2 matches to Umberto and Angel. He's going to defend the title against them on WrestleMania SmackDown this Friday in a triple threat. So he loses twice on one show, and then he comes here and he's an enhancement talent. Like what? Cedric Alexander was busy. He couldn't face Austin Theory. Really? R-Truth couldn't face Austin Theory. Akira Tozawa. Like, I'm trying to think of face.
There could be so many people that they chose.
There's so many other people, but why the Intercontinental Champion? It makes no sense. So it's like Ricochet, after having a little momentum, in the Sami Zayn matches, which were pretty good. Now he's lost 3 times on 2 shows. He's right back to where he was again. All the momentum's gone. If it even really truly existed in the first place.
I knew it.
And now the only difference is he's just carrying an ugly version of the Intercontinental title. That's it.
Yep.
That's the only thing that's different.
There's honestly, I hate to say this,
WrestleMania without an Intercontinental title match.
It's something.
Something. Finn Balor. No sign of Finn Balor tonight. I don't think no Damian Priest.
Nope.
Damian Priest went from teaming with Bad Bunny last year to
now, like,
he's not on the card.
Afterthought.
He's not on the card. And they kept him undefeated for almost all of 2021.
They did.
And he's not on the card.
They did. Because on it,
he was a disappointment.
I really hate being pessimistic, but
we called it on him.
It really just for honestly, those last few that you just mentioned in itself, like, there's just nothing to them. I'm sorry, there's just nothing.
That's just like, Finn Balor's been kind of existing, so no secondary titles on the show. No United States title, no Intercontinental title. I'm not saying that they couldn't be added. Well, Intercontinental title is definitely not being added because that's going to be on WrestleMania SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they could do a U.S. title for the kickoff show. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's that. We have a 2-on-1 handicap match, our second 2-on-1 handicap match of the night. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin, who's his WrestleMania opponent, and Madcap Moss. Drew McIntyre wins, which actually makes me think that Happy Corbin's going over WrestleMania, but Jesus.
You're like, okay.
Okay.
Again.
My excitement for Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. Quentin. I gotta give it a toilet water, drown me in toilet water rating for my excitement for that match. I sincerely hope that it's gonna be on the kickoff show. It shouldn't even be on the main card of WrestleMania Saturday.
That would be so
It'll
bad.
Be there. Yeah, Drew McIntyre was WWE champion 2 years ago in the main event of WrestleMania. Now he's facing Happy Corbin.
There's a lot of that, though. There's a lot of individuals who were right there, so close, doing amazing, and then.
Oh yeah, Randy's probably right because Madcap Moss can't make Happy Corbin laugh anymore. So it might just be a setup to have Moss walk out on Corbin so we can see that match that everybody's been dying to see.
Great, but why does the other one have to be involved?
But no, that's probably what's going to happen. So maybe Drew McIntyre can salvage something, but
not much though.
I don't know. That does not light my fire. We had an Edge promo where he said that he's taken fate into his own hands and it's serendipity that it needed to be Styles. For the last 20 years, they've been running wild and blowing roofs off arenas. Well, except for that nearly 10-year gap for Edge. This is the first time they're going to meet. He's living inside of Styles' head. This Sunday is Styles' Judgment Day, and his judgment is sealed. AJ Styles then says that he's going to give Edge a beating in a match that the WWE Universe will never forget. So there you go. Finally, we have champion versus champion. They cut Alpha Academy versus Street Profits, which is okay. But I really want to see Alpha Academy on the show tonight. I just love those guys.
No, even with the stickers commercial, I was like, oh, please, I hope they're on.
I thought they were going to come out at the end. Anyway, Usos, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, face RK Bro, the Raw Tag Team Champions. Good match.
I liked it.
I did not expect the finish, so I just appreciated it for what it was. And I thought they worked hard and had a good match.
I thought it was good. It was fun.
It's like they did a lot more than I would have expected them to do on WrestleMania week.
Yeah. because you do want to protect people.
Where everybody's just trying to get through Raw and SmackDown without hurting
without
each other.
any injuries. Exactly.
With no injuries. Don't get hurt. That's the
they
motif of the week.
They definitely. Whoo, okay.
So Street Profits run in and attack Orton, so RK Bro wins by disqualification. Street Profits beat up RK Bro for a little bit. Nakamura and Rick Boogs run in and beat up the Usos. Rick Boogs is like scary powerful.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
By the way, I have to say on SmackDown, Rick Boogs did the there's this really great clip of Freddie Mercury from Live Aid in 1985 of he essentially just did what professional singers do with their vocal warm-ups, and he had the crowd do it along with him, which I mean, obviously, he had like thousands, tens of thousands of people with him just in the palm of his hand. Rick Boogs did that in Brooklyn this past Friday. I was like, I like that little. He already kind of looks like Freddie.
Yeah,
he looks like a really, really, really muscular version of Freddie Mercury.
That's crazy.
I was like, I really appreciated that. I really appreciated
that.
Yeah. RK Bro, after Boogs and Nakamura got the Usos out of the ring, RK Bro really, really crushed the Street Profits. Crushed them. Multiple RKOs. Just really just embarrassed them. No Alpha Academy. So it was a weird way to end the show, with them just dominating these guys. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's the build for RK Bro versus Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. There you go. Then they run down the show. They run down the WrestleMania card to end the show. This was a solid episode of Raw. It was good advertisement for WrestleMania.
I thought it did its job.
That's all it was designed to do.
Yep. I thought it's its job because 3 hour it doesn't happen.
A 3 hour infomercial for the show.
Sometimes it does not happen.
What was that one Royal Rumble that it was the Raw before Royal Rumble and they almost did no advertisement at all for Royal Rumble? Was it this year or was it last year? I can't remember.
It was one of them.
There was like no advertisement whatsoever.
One of them. Yeah.
It was like so weird. It's like, oh, Royal Rumble was this Sunday? Okay.
That's the thing. When you forget, I mean, like I said, I just forget because my brain's like mush lately. But when this is why this is so exciting, because you got good reminders tonight of the fun stuff that has come for the weekend. And I'm all about it. I'm all about just making sure that we get to that point. And but they did a lot, even though they did hold back, obviously.
There was a couple angles on tonight's show.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of good stuff, a lot of good promos, some decent matches where nobody got hurt again. But
solid matches. Yeah,
they were just solid professional wrestling matches.
Very good promos.
Yeah, the promos were actually almost all of them across the board were pretty good. I even like Bianca Belair's. So got to give this show a rating. Everybody in the chat room, what do you give the show? A thumbs up or a thumbs down? Victoria, I go to you first.
I give it a thumbs up.
All right. I also give it a thumbs up. Let's see what Twitter says about it. Twitter's a little more jaded. They give it 55% thumbs up right now, so it's almost half and half.
Half and half, yeah.
It's like I don't know. Some people,
I don't know what they were. You know what those
I don't know what some people expect.
I think some of those individuals were expecting Cody Rhodes to come out, Stone Cold Steve Austin to come out. These people are just expecting. They want a circus act.
Daniel Shaw gives it Will Smith slap in the face, thumbs down. Okay,
that's fair.
Billy Hefner gives it a thumbs up. I think that's all right. So
what about you?
I thought I gave it a thumbs up already.
Oh, okay.
I gave it a thumbs up already. I like that. Will Smith slap in the face, thumbs down. Ouch. Even though he slapped Chris Rock and it didn't really look like it phased Chris Rock. I mean, I give that guy so much praise for basically no selling it. He's just like, wow, okay. Will Smith slapped me. All right.
I don't even
so weird. So deeply weird.
It's a very weird interaction.
Well, anyway, everybody. So
we forgot.
What? Oh, okay. There's one more thing that we have to talk about.
We have to talk about.
It's actually one of the biggest pieces of news coming out of this last week. Victoria's friend Paul has called it a career.
Yeah.
An amazing career. Paul Levesque, we know him as Triple H. After that really scary heart situation over the fall, he has a defibrillator in his chest. He was in heart failure, serious heart failure. His career is over. He officially announced that he has retired. So you know, my at another point, I'd like to talk more about Triple H. You know, but for now, all I can say is, I mean, you know, like him, love him or hate him, the
impact that he's made.
He's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know where he ranks for me right now. I haven't really had a chance to really dissect
to like assess
career.
that. Yeah.
I don't think it's a top 5, but maybe he could be in the top 10 of greats of all time. Nobody did politics better than Triple H. But I mean, look, he helped to spearhead some cultural phenomena, you know, in the late 90s with DX and the Suck It thing, and influenced a generation of wrestlers, and it, you know, impact and made positive impacts on so many wrestlers' lives. People that wouldn't have gotten a chance, you know, a lot of the cruiserweight guys talked about how they never would have gotten a chance if not for Paul Levesque. You know, he's done a lot. You know, like there was a time when I would have agreed 1,000% that he actually took away from the business and was a detriment to the business when he was running with Evolution, when he was never beat, you know, when he was always the one going over. I did think of him at the time as like, all right, this has gone too far. This is
right.
Like he's
taking
too
much. Yeah, taking advantage.
He's taking too much from Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and those guys, you know, where it's like, you know, have the book, just make yourself look strong. I didn't like that. He married the boss's daughter. Obviously, things were skewed. But he had a second, you know, half of his career was like a career renaissance where he did give back and he got in the executive side of things. NXT, I'm talking about the guy like he's dead. He's very much not, and he's still going to be involved in wrestling, but he's done in ring. But you know, that time as the executive of NXT before Nick Khan, that son of a bitch, came and ruined everything and took him out of his position. He made some real positive impact on the wrestling industry and built up guys that might not have had a chance. So my hat's off to Paul Levesque.
I don't think many people just know also, and all joking aside, he really is just like a good guy when you do talk to him. And
Victoria's actually spoken with Paul Levesque in the past.
Yes. And he enjoyed our conversation.
Yes.
He did.
I remember hearing from the WWE rep that he was really impressed. Well, number one, there's like almost no females in those media conference calls that they used to do. They don't do them anymore. And he was like, "Who was that from Wrestleview?" And they're like, "Oh, her name Victoria." He goes, "She was really good."
I think you just see the admiration and the amount of individuals that he has impacted, and that he really just cares about the business, whether, you know, start of his career or not, you know, the politics behind it, that's fine. I think everybody kind of goes through that, especially you get caught up in things, right? But he really did he does so much, and his matches were good and everything, but it's a shame that what really upsets me about wrestlers in general is that when they're like forced to retire, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that he was going to be doing anything like crazy. I know he said in the past, like in the past couple of years, he's like, I really just want to like take the time to build up people and not focus on myself and, you know, have matches or whatever, because he could certainly insert himself in whenever he wants, right? He has that right and that privilege. But no, he really just took the back seat and whatever. But when you have to, because of a health issue, you have to just say no on your own terms. That's so upsetting.
It is sad. It is sad that he's not going to get that one final.
I mean, he like almost died. Like that's the scary thing.
It is sad that he doesn't get that one final send off. Actually, it's kind of ironic that his last televised match in the United States was at WrestleMania 35 against Batista, where if Triple H if he lost, he would have to retire from in-ring competition. Little do we know that we were seeing the last American match for Triple H. The last televised match that he had was being defeated by Randy Orton at Super Showdown in 2019. He did a couple of he did 2 house shows in June of 2019 where he teamed with one night his last one he teamed with Nakamura. His last real match was a match with Shinsuke Nakamura versus Robert Roode and Samoa Joe, which Triple H and Shinsuke won. The night before it was AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and Triple H beating Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Samoa Joe. And if you really want to consider this a match, he did have one last match in 2021 against Randy Orton in a match that was a street fight, but it ended with a no contest because the Fiend came out, or Alexa Bliss did the Fiend thing and she blew fire in Orton's face, which is like the bullshit of all bullshit. So in my opinion, his last real match probably was that Nakamura Triple H, tag match against Roode and Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get to end it on his own terms, but thank God he's able to say I'm retired.
Yes. No, you're right.
Not something more tragic.
Yeah, no, you're right.
He has a whole life to live. He's still a young guy. He's in his mid-50s.
He is. And I think
got 3 young girls.
I just want him
to go live a happy life. Wrestling's not everything.
And it's not.
And he can still positively impact the wrestling industry for many years to come.
Well, that's what I was going to say just now too. I think that, although a lot was taken away from him in terms of creative.
So much. Yes.
NXT
was removed from him.
Yes. Maybe certain things will come back. Maybe he will start to gain a little bit more of that creative control again. Because I personally think he did one hell of a job with NXT.
NXT was the hottest thing in
I really do. I think that
for years.
He's smart. He's very smart.
They didn't have a single bad show for years.
Nope.
Like those takeover shows, I mean.
Nope.
So hats off to Paul Levesque. All the best in in-ring retirement, but not retirement from the industry. I think he'll make an impact for many years to come.
Hi, Paul.
So on that note, we're going to shut this down. But tomorrow night, well, actually, if you're watching this on the East Coast, it's already 12:30. So later today, Roy Nemmer is going to come out with some game footage from WWE 2K22.
I'm so excited for this.
Which is going to be fun. I think Roy's going to have a really good time with that. Thursday, we're going to have a Wrestlemania Predictions show on this YouTube channel. Friday, we're going to have coverage of SmackDown. The SmackDown post show will take place then. Saturday, we have WrestleMania Night 1 live podcast. Sunday, WrestleMania Night 2 podcast. Next Monday, we'll have post-Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania. A lot of content coming up, not including, we're going to have NXT recaps. We're going to recap Stand and Deliver. We're going to obviously recapping SmackDown. We have Dynamite. We're going to have the AAA show. We're going to have the Ring of Honor show. We're going to have both nights of WrestleMania. We're going to have Raw.
You're going to be just as busy as all of us.
You're going to be busy reading our
You're going to be joining in on this entire week with us.
Yep.
You better.
Everybody will be there. Everybody will be there. And I swear he's not here tonight, but I know he always listens to the show the next day. Andrew Elder, I swear to God, if you're not there for the WrestleMania shows, I'm coming to Tennessee. I'm going to find you and make you watch live. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
And I'm Victoria Tedesco.
We'll see you soon. Well, very, very soon.
Happy start to WrestleMania week, everybody.
WrestleMania week. We'll see you a lot this week. Enjoy.